energetice se influențează reciproc, comunică și depind unul de celălalt. Iar clima, cu siguranță, nu ține cont de granițe. Provocările din aceste domenii sunt globale, iar prin urmare trebuie să găsim soluții tot globale. Împreună cu partenerii europeni și cu cei americani, putem propune soluții eficiente pentru energie și climă. Putem doar, dacă lucrăm sincronizat, să vorbim pe o singură voce și să schimbăm lumea prin puterea exemplului. Când spun noi, nu mă refer doar la politicieni, ci la oamenii de afaceri, cercetători, experți și societatea civilă. Provocările cu care ne confruntăm sunt cele mai mari din istoria recentă. La fel trebuie să fie fermitatea și unitatea noastră în a le rezolva sau să dăm doar câteva exemple. Sistemele noastre energetice trebuie să fie capabile să furnizeze energie în orice moment și în condiții de stres intern ori extern, tuturor consumatorilor și oriunde. Reducerea costurilor energiei pentru toți consumatorii individuali și industriali este o problemă ce trebuie abordată frontal. Și noi, ca întreaga Europa, riscăm scăderea avantajului competitiv din cauza prețului ridicat la energie. Trebuie să inversăm această tendință cât mai repede. Este urgentă modernizarea capacităților de producție de energie și a liniilor de transmisie. Acestea trebuie să poată stabiliza sistemul energetic, permițând și circulația liberă a energiei într-o piață unică, dar una funcțională. Doar cu securitate energetică, energie accesibilă pentru economie și populație și competitivitate economică, putem face pasul decisiv pentru următorul obiectiv esențial: să obținem energie curată și verde. În același timp, se impune să diversificăm sursele de energie și mijloacele de producție. Acum, mai mult ca oricând, e nevoie să fim pragmatici și solidari. După cum bine știm, iarna se apropie. Războiul din Ucraina este în desfășurare și este nevoie de o acțiune imediată pentru a susține Republica Moldova, Ucraina și toate țările din regiune cu vulnerabilități. De aceea, îmbunătățim capacitățile de interconectare cu toate țările din jur. Coridorul transbalcanic și coridorul vertical, la care lucrăm cu partenerii din Bulgaria, Turcia și Grecia, sunt proiecte vitale pentru regiune în domeniul gazelor. Alături de Turcia și Azerbaidjan, am deschis un nou potențial uriaș de cooperare atât în privința gazelor cât și a energiei, iar prin coridorul verde am cooptat noi state precum Georgia și Ungaria la acest efort regional fără precedent. Investim miliarde de euro în noi capacități de obținere a energiei din surse regenerabile și urmărim dublarea capacității nucleare a României. Sunt cele mai mari investiții din istorie în toate mijloacele de producție de energie. Vrem să modernizăm sectorul energetic și să-l facem mai rezistent la șocurile regionale sau globale. Începem proiectul Neptun Deep, proiect crucial de exploatare a gazelor în Marea Neagră, care va dubla capacitatea de producție de gaze a României și va transforma țara noastră în cel mai mare producător din Uniunea Europeană, începând cu 2027. Totodată, construim un sistem de transport de curent continuu de înaltă tensiune ce duce energie din Azerbaidjan, Georgia și România către Ungaria și restul Europei. Nu pot încheia fără a menționa sprijinul uriaș al Statelor Unite în proiecte energetice strategice din domeniul nuclear. Construcția reactoarelor 3 și 4 de la Cernavodă se face într-un consorțiu în care participă două companii americane importante. Amintesc că România, încă din 1970, s-a uitat spre vest pentru tehnologie nucleară, nu spre Uniunea Sovietică, și suntem singura țară din toată regiunea care a făcut asta. Noul proiect, cel al reactorilor nucleare modulare, SMR, este genul de investiție majoră care poate schimba lumea. Salut faptul că acest forum este chiar gazda semnării parteneriatului dintre nucleare electrică cu NuScale și Fluor, ambele companii americane, pentru intrarea în etapa studiului de fezabilitate. Ne poziționează între primele state ale lumii care vor avea această tehnologie. Este și cel mai avansat proiect prin care o fostă termocentrală de cărbune este transformată într-o centrală nuclearo-electrică modernă care va produce în bandă cu zero emisii de dioxid de carbon. Știu că începem împreună și alt proiect revoluționar în energia geotermală. Chiar azi se semnează un memorandum între Elcen și compania americană SEIG Geosystems. Bucureștiul are această rezervă în nordul orașului. Prin sprijinul Statelor Unite vom putea integra energia geotermală în sistemul de termoficare a capitalei, reducând facturile bucureștenilor și folosind energie curată. Cred că sunt suficiente argumente pentru a ilustra potențialul de lider pe care țara noastră îl are în regiune, în sectorul energetic. Și vă invit în continuare să fim parteneri în proiecte ambițioase de dezvoltare în folosul tuturor cetățenilor pe care îi reprezentăm. Vă mulțumesc și vă doresc să fie un forum cât mai profitabil.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, especially for teasing those two very interesting partnerships, Romanian and US partnerships regarding energy. And I'm sure you're going to find out more throughout the day. And I'm more than sure that our next keynote speaker has details about that and about Romania's vision regarding energy in the near future. So I'd like to give the stage to Minister Sebastian Burduja, Minister of Energy of Romania.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, Secretary Granholm, Ambassador, Ministers, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Bucharest for this 5th edition of PTEC. Indeed, we are the host after Houston, Vilnius, Warsaw, and Zagreb, I believe, and it's a great pleasure to see so many wonderful people who came from near and far to celebrate this partnership and establish what we will do next. The topics we will address during these days are absolutely critical: energy security and transition, our infrastructure investments, promoting clean energy, geothermal facilities, including through the Alliance of Green Cities, an initiative of PTEC, and of course, rebuilding Ukraine's energy sector and best ways to support the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine. Humanity has tried for quite a long time to solve the energy trilemma. We know we need secure energy, we know we need affordable energy, we know we need green energy, but it's very hard to have it all at the same time. So we have proposed addressing it in this exact order: security, competitiveness, and friendliness to the environment. The first summit that addressed climate change, I believe, was in '92 with the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. Thereafter, in '97, we had the Kyoto Protocol. And few people know that Romania was the first country in the world to ratify the Kyoto Protocol in 2001. First country in the world. And then in 2015, the Paris Agreement. This was humanity's response to what is happening in our planet and how we're using our energy. But I believe that even if there was no climate change at all, we still would have been willing and determined to find a replacement to oil and gas. As a matter of fact, in history, coal replaced wood, and then oil replaced coal, And now solar and wind and batteries and geothermal and hydrogen are the way of the future. Romania as well is very committed to do the green transition in a way that is pragmatic and feasible and an example to the region and the world. And that means using gas in the short to medium term. And our Neptune Deep project will turn this country into the #1 gas producer in the EU, 2027. Big year for us. And then to use nuclear. And you've heard our Prime Minister mention the two large projects we're working on in Cernavoda, Units 3 and 4, and the SMR project in Doicești. I think there are 4 elements for our common success at PTEC and beyond. And the first is to have a common vision. That's why we're here. And it's not easy to craft. It requires dialogue. It requires a lot of compromise and negotiations. But I believe we can do it. Second, the will to change. It's always easier to do things the way they've always been done. But as we have constantly seen, that is not sustainable. So we need that will. And of course, politically speaking, it's always easier to act for the next election, not for the next generation. But I believe there are leaders in this room who will act for the next generation and do the things that are right. Third of all, we need courage and big projects. And for that, please allow me to mention 3 that Romania is pursuing. SMRs, and already in the Polytechnic University, we have a wonderful center for training the next generation of nuclear experts. The geothermal energy in Bucharest and the memorandum that will be done today, a few years from now, this capital city, one of the most important district heating systems in Europe and the world, will be using geothermal energy. And last but not least, this very long cable from Azerbaijan through Georgia, under the Black Sea, through Romania, across into Hungary, where we are already doing the feasibility study. All this requires partnership among countries, between the public and private sector. And this reminds me of the very important idea of bridges. And so in this country, perhaps the most famous bridge is between Bucharest and the Black Sea, and it crosses the Danube River, the most important river in Europe. It was built in 1895 by a 35-year-old engineer, probably Romania's most famous engineer, Angel Salini. And he's famous because in 1895, when that bridge was done, and was the largest bridge, the longest bridge in Europe at the time, and I think the 3rd longest in the world, he stood under that bridge as the first trains went over, along with his entire team. And after they crossed, he said, "I knew we would hold." And so looking at you, I know our bridge of friendship and trust and cooperation and determination will hold. So thank you for being here. Thank you for bearing this sauna, and can't wait for the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Burduja. He'll be closely watched the next 2 days, hosted here in full of energy and, well, surprisingly steamy atmosphere in the beautiful Parliament Palace in Bucharest, Romania. And I would like to give the stage right now to our most important visiting guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce the Honorable Jennifer Granholm, U.S. Secretary of Energy.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Minister, Madam Ambassador, and all of the tremendous leaders who are here, both in the public sector and the private sector. Thanks for the warm welcome to Bucharest. I'm proud to be here representing a great president, Joe Biden, and a great vice president, Kamala Harris. We're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the future over the next few days, and rightfully so. But let me just take a pause for a second to reflect on the incredible progress that we've already made together. Last year when we met, we marked 1 year since Putin's invasion of Ukraine. And today, nearly 900 days since the invasion, and I'm sure you are, just as humbled by the bravery and the perseverance and the determination of the Ukrainian people, and equally grateful for those who have provided safe harbor for families who have been fleeing the war, like those who are here in Romania and Poland and others. This conflict, I think, has tested our allies' resolve and our resilience. And time again, we have risen to the challenge. We've emerged stronger, I think, and more united than ever, but ever so on guard. The U.S. and our partners have delivered billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid to the Ukrainian people. We've all reduced our reliance on Russian oil and gas, including by connecting our Moldovan partners to the European grid. And we have invested in diversifying into renewables like wind and solar, limitless resources that no dictator can hold hostage. So today, PTEC nations are at the forefront of this new energy economy, one that protects our climate and our health, but does save our people money and creates future-facing jobs in every region where it takes root. This actually is a $23 trillion global opportunity, this clean energy sector. And each of us, each country, this is not a competition. We all can stake our claim in this clean energy economy. And of course, so many of you are already getting in on the action. Poland is partnering with Westinghouse, for example, to build Poland's first ever nuclear reactor, creating thousands of good-paying jobs in both the United States and Poland. Croatia is leaning in on geothermal. Bulgaria and Czechia are supporting and supercharging their solar capacity. Lithuania is expanding its pump storage hydro. Slovakia, Slovenia, and Romania all have great plans, as you've heard, to expand their nuclear capacity. And plans for new offshore wind are cropping up along the Baltic coast, the Black Sea, the Adriatic, the Mediterranean seas. The opportunities are enormous. And for those of you who are not yet investing, now is the time. This is your moment. And the United States and our global partners have put forward massive incentives to sweeten the deal. So just in the US, for example, the Biden-Harris administration is delivering on an industrial strategy which has not really been what the United States has been known for. We've been sort of hands-off, but now we are in the game, and we have developed an industrial strategy that is unprecedented. First of all, we're investing in research and development to reduce the cost and expand the capacity of emerging technologies, advanced nuclear, for example, carbon capture and sequestration, just like we did solar, batteries for electric vehicles, like we did back in the 2010s to reduce costs. Like solar costs have come down 75 to 80%, batteries for electric vehicles, as you know. So we've done all of that, but we are also de-risking the investments in proven technologies, proven solutions like wind and solar and geothermal. And we're doing that through tax incentives for manufacturing the products themselves, solar panels, et cetera, but also the production of the energy, tax incentives. So the strategy, it's working. between these two bills that President Biden signed, the Inflation Reduction Act and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, just the Department of Energy, we have announced grants and loans of more than $70 billion in clean energy technologies and companies. And then the private sector has responded, and they have announced more than $213 billion, so almost $300 billion in clean energy technologies as a result of policy. Who knew? Policy actually works. In total, in the United States, companies have announced plans for over 700, almost 800 new or expanded factories, putting people to work in every pocket of America. In a country that watched so many manufacturing jobs leave, to see jobs come back in manufacturing is so gratifying. But it's not just American companies, let me be clear about this, that are benefiting. Of all of the clean energy manufacturing announcements and investments in the US between 2021 and 2023, more than half were either foreign companies or joint ventures. And since the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, countries from around the world have been doing the same. Canada, France, Germany, all adopting incentives, which is great. Let's grow the pie. It is a big enough market for us all to be able to participate. It's a global race to the top, and one that stands to benefit folks from every corner of the world, whether you're a machinist in Michigan or a pipe fitter in Prague. So, in the spirit of that transatlantic cooperation, I just want to say congratulations, and I'm excited about the announcements that you made this morning. We're, the Fluor and Sargent and Lundy reaching an agreement with Romania's SNN to refurbish and develop Cernavodă. This project was the result of an innovative intergovernmental agreement between the United States and Romania on energy cooperation. And what this agreement does is it sets up a continuous process for dialogue and for support and for partnership in exchange for consideration of U.S. goods and services. And we forged similar agreements, for example, with Poland and with Bulgaria, and we're looking to make other intergovernmental agreements as well. And out of the same agreement, that the announcement about this furtherance of the small modular reactors comes as well. We will be announcing a site-specific engineering study that the United States will be funding to make sure that this is a success. We're excited about that. We're excited about the fact that it is replacing a retiring coal plant. That's the energy transition that we're talking about, putting people to work who have powered our nations for the past 100 years or more, who will be able to power our nations for the next 100 years or more. The announcement about SAGE and the geothermal partnership, the MOU today, and ELSEN, so exciting. This is a geothermal hotspot, this region of the world. We're excited to be joined by the minister from Iceland as well, which is another geothermal hotspot. In the United States, we could learn from you all to be able to do more development of enhanced geothermal. We're super excited about that and about the technology associated with it. So we think it's going to be this example of district heating here. 14,000 homes will be powered, which is exciting. 70 megawatts of clean power, and we're excited to be able to learn from and support this effort. So, after decades of reliance on unpredictable and volatile and often manipulated fossil fuel markets, we're finally building a clean energy economy on our own terms. Sometimes, when you're in the middle of history, it's hard to tell because you're in the middle of it. But let me assure you, we are witnessing energy history right now with opportunities for investors in this region reaching a level unseen since the fall of the Berlin Wall. Now is the time. For you in the private sector, this is your moment too. Do not let it pass you by. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Secretary Granholm, for these profound remarks. Thank you, Minister Sebastian Burduja, and thank you, Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have had a great and consistent day debating key aspects of the energy sector. Actually, you are maybe drawing here today in Bucharest, Romania, the future of mankind. The way our civilization will cope in a green and sustainable way, if possible, with the rising hunger for energy. And I think the agenda will benefit from the qualified steering from Andrei Covătariu, a research fellow at the Center on Regulation in Europe, to whom I pass now the Master of Ceremony mission. And again, we are live on the Atlantic Council website, so stay with us wherever you are. Andrei, please, best of luck, and thank you. Best of luck to you all.